accent learners. As always, I'm your host and accent guru, Ria. Today, we're going to be looking at an old lesson that we did earlier. This is one of our basic lessons. It is the letter I. So as always, you can catch these lessons being taught live to you by going to that link right at the bottom of the screen. And you can sign up for one of our live group lessons, which are entirely free. So you can go ahead and redeem that. And also, if you'd like to see these slides, you can go over to accentacademy.org and we have an option for you to purchase these lesson slides. A few of the slides have actually been removed so that you guys can purchase those for extra practice. So here are the 4 types of I that we're going to be covering today. First, we have I, then we have I, then we have E, and next we have So these are all the different ways that you will hear I being pronounced. And we'll talk about each and every one of these and a few tips to sort of identify them as we go along with the video. So this is the I sound. With the I sound, you want to look out for vowels. If it is a vowel sandwich, which means you have a consonant in the middle and 2 vowels on either end, you will probably see the I sound. It helps to remember that the I sound is written like I, which also has a vowel sandwich. So it'll kind of ease things in that direction. You'll also see an I sound when you combine an I and an E, and a few other scenarios, which we'll take a look at today. So first we've got IV, IV. Now you may notice that this isn't a vowel sandwich per se, but it does act like one. Generally, even as I take French in school, we actually consider the Y as a vowel because it has a vowel-like quality wherein it has a really loud and open sound which you create with your mouth. So in the case of vowel sandwich, I would recommend considering a Y as sort of like a vowel because it has an open sound. IV, IV. As Y kind of makes an E sound, as you can see in this phonetic pronunciation down at the bottom. You want to keep track of the sounds that you are creating in the word. Things like this will actually help you be able to identify a word and pronounce it, even if you're not familiar with it. So going ahead and reading a word and pronouncing it correctly is a skill that is identified once you are understanding each and every part of the word and kind of coming to conclusions about how it will be pronounced. So when it comes to a word like ivy, I see, oh, there's a Y at the end. I'm going to assume that's an E sound because it wouldn't be an ivy, ivy, ivy. It feels off. It doesn't feel phonetic. It doesn't feel American. So I'm going to cross ivy off the list. Then I have ivy left. So that is a little tip for how to pronounce a word that you have just read. All right. Next, we have ion and ionic. Now, I like to bring up ion and ionic because they're chemistry words. And for anyone who is a big fan of chemistry or just really liked chemistry in high school like me, ion is actually a really fun word to pronounce. That O in the middle actually sort of works like a Y, as we talked about before. It has that springing off quality, which we talk about when we're looking at a different kind of sound for our A's. So the notion that that I is kind of bouncing off that Y and jumping on, ion, ion. That's exactly what we want to look out for. And we're like, oh, that's probably an I sound. If you pronounce it as ion, you want to make sure that you are making it more smooth and more coherent. Again, you want to make sure that one word sounds like one word. And in this case, you connect that I and that O sound with a Y. We'll see a few more of these as we go along with these lessons, but that's definitely a big indicator. If something feels off, like they feel segmented, maybe connect them with a Y sound. That's a little tip. And then ionic. That I sound is something that we're going to cover later. Again, if you want more practice on those I sounds, then you should head over to accentacademy.org and you can go ahead and select one of our plans for getting these lesson slides. All right, so this is the I sound. Fizzy. So I want you to notice that this definitely by no means is a vowel sandwich, right? We've got that Y all the way at the end and that Z is right there. It's actually a reverse, a consonant sandwich, if you will. And since we're starting off with this I sound, I'm going to assume that it's going to be very gentle. It's a very simple start. The F sound doesn't have a lot of quality to it. It's a very gentle sound. And that's going to give me a clue. Oh, we're going for a gentle word. Fizzy, fizzy, fizzy. Again, if you pronounce it as fizzy, you want to make sure that you're watching out for that I sound, right? I. Specific, specific, specific. I repeated that one 3 times because it's a really hard word to get on your first try. That E sound is incredibly difficult, which you can go over and check our Sounds of E episode, but you want to make sure that that is going to be a soft sound. Again, Sounds of E will explain everything. Then you've got the S sound, the S sound. Now, it's at the end of the word, and usually what I like to tell you guys is that the American accent is lazy. In this case, I want you to take it easy with this sound. You want to go I, and relax that sound because it's at the end of the word. I like to say that the American accent is lazy because you don't want to use up too much breath while pronouncing things. And this is a perfect example because you're at the end of the word and you're already sort of out of breath. If you pronounce it as spécifique, it's going to be really hard to get all of those sounds out. So take it easy on yourself, relax, pronounce the word calmly. Specific, specific, specific. And it's a lot easier once you get the hang of it. E, the E sound. So sort of to recap what we looked at with the I sound, that is a very soft, a very gentle sound. With the E sound, you've got a very long, a very harsh sound, similar to the one that we talked about earlier. Pizza, pizza, pizza. That I sound is stretched, just like a pizza. So you are stretching that I, and you're making it really, really long. And then that A sound just sort of falls off. Pizza, pizza. It's not pizza because I don't have enough energy after I just stretched out that I. Pizza, pizza. This next one is casino, casino, casino. Again, that A sound is very soft and gentle, and that I sound is very stretched out. And at the end, we've got no, no, no. It's nothing long, it's no stretched out ooh. It's a very gentle no sound. So we've got a soft a long E, and a very soft O. All right, let's move on to victim, victim. The victim was found on 6th Avenue. Victim is an interesting word because it has 2 types of I sounds. In the beginning, when we have I, that is our I sound, which we talked about earlier. And then towards the end, we have a very interesting sound. What I like to explain is that towards the end of this word, we completely fall off. And the softest way to pronounce an I is the sound because you're barely letting out any actual vocal strain. Victim, victim. It gently falls off. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of tips for words with the sound, but I will let you know that it is relatively rare. It is something that you only come across once or twice, like in this word here. But once you do, it's really important that you practice it several times so that you can get the hang of it. This next word is interim. Interim. Now, it's very important that you catch the beginning of this word as well, as we're going to talk about it in a few later episodes. But I also want you to, just for the sake of this episode, focus on that I sound. Again, it drops off, it's very gentle and relaxed, and it's the sound, so interim. If you don't get the beginning of that, it's okay. But if you do get the beginning of that, then you're already ahead of the curve. So that is all for today. Thank you so much for joining. And I am your accent guru, Ria, and I hope to see you next video. Bye.